Hey everybody, this is the Household Gamer with a pre-battle report, pre-game breakdown, battle report pre-game. We're going to take a look at the crews that we're selecting, and we're going to look at a special piece of terrain that we're using. We call it the Trr-ain. During this battle, the Trr-ain is going to move across the board. Every turn, we're going to flip. For each weak that gets flipped, it moves an inch. For each moderate that gets flipped, it moves 2 inches. And for each severe it gets flipped, it moves 3. If anybody flips a red joker, it goes 6 inches. If anybody flips a black joker, it counts as 0. And if we both flip jokers, the train blows up. Also, if you're in the way when the train is coming in, it hits you. You take 2, 4, 6 damage. And if red joker, you're just dead. If that happens, man, that's it. Today it is going to be Resurrectionists versus Arcanists, and I am choosing to bring Seamus, aka Sebastian Baker. We're playing Wedge Deployment and Covert Operation. And our scheme pool is load 'em up, breakthrough, assassinate, in your face, and secret meetup. I want a mobile crew, and I think Seamus is the very definition of that. Everybody's got these movement shenanigans that they can slide around the board, and Seamus still gets to make attacks if you end a movement near him and it's not your activation. So I really want to take advantage of that. So as I said, I'm taking Seamus, aka Sebastian Baker. As far as I'm concerned, his two biggest points are Take by the Hand, which is his bonus action, which is a 3-inch push, and then he gets to push 3 inches to meet up. It's a nice free move. He can use it on his own guys. He can try and use it offensively. And his summon. I want to choke the board with corpses. Next, I'm taking Madame Cybele. What can I say about her? She has 2 6-inch ores that are both awesome. She can move stuff around. She's terrifying. She has a 2-inch whip that gets triggers off all suits. Love her. Taking a Doxy. She's a great minion. She also has Take by the Hand, which activates Seamus's "Why hello, love," so we can get that free attack. Mostly I'm hoping to pull his guys out of position when they are, evidently ready to score those pillars. And, God willing, pull him in front of the train. I really want to pull a guy in front of the train. I'm taking the White Rabbit Company. He's got Beckon and Call, more movement stuff, and he can give out hats. I'm taking a Mourner, mostly just to get a free corpse marker at the start of the game, so Seamus can be guaranteed to raise somebody new. I'm taking a Rotten Bell, Old Faithful. She's got Pounce, she's got Lure. Doxies are a bit better, Bells are 1 cheaper. I like to mix it up. And then I'm taking a Grave Golem. Say what you will about this choice, and it's probably not a good one, but I just wanted to use the big Seamus model, and this was the nice, big, fat, versatile guy. He's got AP, hits like a hammer. He's a good target for in your face, get up close to the master, get killed. Account for that and then still come back. He might be able to claim the terrain piece at the end of the game too. Let's see what Matt's bringing, and remember, this is all just fodder for me to pull in front of the train.
So I went with Rasputina this week after playing against it last week, and mainly because I had been wanting to play this crew for a little while. We didn't have the models, and after Sean was able to hodgepodge one together, I said, I think I'm going to try one as well. So Rasputina herself, I hadn't really seen the previous edition before the errata, so I've only just kind of learned her as this version, but I really like a few of her abilities, such as the Glacial Surge, which allows you to cycle through your hand, obviously, whenever you discard a card for activating your triggers through Ice Mirror, or just cheating Fate, which is really good. So I enjoyed that, and then I also like that she's ruthless, which is really cool, because that seems to be one of those things where against certain crews, just taking those terror checks at the end of the game really sucks. Next, I also really liked the freeze over Shockwave. That was an effect that I don't really use a lot of Shockwave, so I was kind of interested to see how that one turned out. Next, obviously, comes a Wendigo, fairly good model. It's not insignificant, so that's also nice. Next was Snowstorm. He was a model that we had from a while back. Just aesthetically, I just love him, and so obviously you're going to play him even if he was terrible, which luckily he's not. I like the sort of the damage output that he provides, because I feel like this crew's a little bit soft in that regard, but it's also just a really sweet model. Next, I chose Blessed of December. This is another beater that has Leap and is also got Hard to Wound, so those two effects alone were pretty much all I needed to know to want to play it. Next, I chose 2 December Acolytes. Now, I know these don't seem good on the surface. Now, granted, I know there are 7 Soul Stones, which is a little bit expensive, but tools for the job is an extremely strong effect, especially when you can do it twice in a turn, so that way you don't have to absolutely maximize the one time you use it. Next, I also like that their gun is 12 inches. Now, I know it doesn't ignore friendly fire in certain aspects like that make it a lot more reliable, but with these types of crews, I really like having some ranged element, and I just thought maybe let's try 2, and if one dies early, at least I'll have a second. Next, I chose Silent One, which this model seems really just kind of a standard include in most Rasputina lists, just based on her creating ice pillars alone, and then also being able to do soul stones and do some other shenanigans with also the healing energy action, which is really solid. Next, I chose one Ice Gaiman to round out the list. Not a stellar model by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a really just pesky guy that your opponent doesn't really want to attack because it's kind of a waste of their activations, and left unchecked, he can be pretty funny. So based on the scheme pool that we had available, some of those choices were made, but I also thought that with In Your Face, having multiple high point models as well as him, I thought was pretty decent. And then also just playing Rasputina, the load 'em up was definitely a potential option that I could have chose. And that's it for this week.
That's what we got coming to the table. We'll see you next time. Hope you enjoy the battle. We'll see you then. Ciao.